Court come to order. All rise, please. Have a seat. I'm sorry to make you wait. Let me get set up. It hadn't been that busy in the morning, unfortunately. Okay, we're on the record in the case of the State versus Brian De Quincey Newman. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right, and I've got the indictments here and also the sentencing sheets. Let me go ahead and fill in these, and then I'll let y'all explain what's going on. Okay. Yes, sir.
May it please the court?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I believe you've been handed up 2016 GS 40, 422, and 423.
That I have.
They're waivers, Your Honor. Here in the courtroom is Brian Newman with his attorneys Pete Stroll and Potpourri Sellers. It's his intention to plead guilty to those two unpresented indictments. They are under 1254-44B3, Your Honor. It's failure to file tax return and pay your taxes. They're misdemeanors, Your Honor. They each carry up to 1 year and $10,000 fine. This is a straight up plea, Your Honor.
Okay.
Would you raise your right hand, please? If you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Just again, for the record, yesterday we had an off-the-record conversation about my taking this plea. I'm here for a common pleas week, but I did get an order granting me jurisdiction to hear this. The thought being that it would be better for someone from out of this circuit to do it, and I agree with that. Is there any objection from the defendant to me handling this case?
No objection.
State.
No, sir, not at all.
All right. Mr. Newman, I need to ask you some questions. I'm sure you're aware of them, but I need you to speak real loudly so she can hear you. First, neither one of these indictments have been sent to the grand jury. Do you understand that you have a right to have your case sent to the grand jury?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And if you want to plead guilty today, you have to waive your right to present it. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And are you waiving your right to present it?
I am, Your Honor.
And do you understand that this is a straight-up plea? There's no recommendation or negotiation. What's the maximum on each of them? 1 year?
1 year, Your Honor, up to a $10,000 fine.
Okay. You understand that I've got to come up with a sentence between probation and potentially 2 years in prison. You understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, before I even go into the rest of it, do you have any criminal record at all? Because that makes a huge difference on your sentence, as you know.
No, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 33 years old.
And how far did you go in school?
Law school, Your Honor.
All right. And you've been practicing here in Columbia?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you had any drugs or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Are you taking any kind of prescription medication that might prevent you from knowing exactly what's going on here today?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. Has anybody promised you anything or threatened you in any manner to get you to plead guilty here today?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you want to plead guilty, excuse me, you have to waive your constitutional rights?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And in particular, you have to waive your right to a jury trial. Are you waiving that right?
I am, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to remain silent?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to put up a defense?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And as you know, you have a right of confrontation under the state and federal constitution, and that right is that you can require the state to bring in witnesses to testify against you, allow your lawyers to cross-examine those witnesses, and if you want to plead guilty, you have to waive your right to confrontation. You understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And you're waiving that right.
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Have you had plenty of time to speak with your lawyers?
I have, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with their services?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Have they done everything that you've asked them to do?
Yes, sir.
Have they refused to do anything that you wanted to do?
No, sir, Your Honor.
All right. And have you, as the attorneys, had plenty of time to speak with your client?
We have, Your Honor.
And do you think he understands the elements of these two charges?
We do.
Do you also think that he understands his waiver of constitutional rights?
He understands it, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Newman, do you want to plead guilty of these two charges?
I do, Your Honor.
And are you guilty of these two charges?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Yes, sir. Anything you want to tell me about it?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. During the course of the separate investigation beginning last year, it was learned that Mr. Newman had not filed tax returns for tax years 2012 and 2013. It was referred by civil audit to the Criminal Investigation Division, assigned to Matt Wright, who's here in the courtroom. During the course of the investigation, Mr. Newman was approached, his accountants were approached, and the simple fact is, Your Honor, there was no mistake. Mr. Newman simply did not file for those years.
State taxes.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Subsequent to the investigation, he did file. He filed the 2013 return in September of last year, and he filed the 2012 return in December of last year. The first of which was 19 months late, and the second of which is 32 months late. There were no extensions. It was exactly a failure to file. In 2012, he earned $74,000. The calculation is $2,700 in taxes for that year which are owed, and for 2013, $7,100 in taxes. He's consented to restitution for both of those years. You have a restitution order in front of you, Judge, which also includes $1,000 for the cost of prosecution. He's educated, Your Honor. He's an attorney. He clearly knew his requirement to file. He just didn't. Having said that, you know, in addition to his standing in the community, he was obligated to do better.
Do you agree with those facts, Mr. Newman?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Before your lawyers answer this question, because you've got great lawyers, I'm just kind of curious why you didn't file.
And the truth is, Your Honor, I actually thought that I had filed. I was made aware towards the end of last year that there was not a 2012 on file, and made arrangements to do so. Hence the filing that didn't happen until December. Immediately once I was aware that my 2013 had not been filed, I immediately executed that. That was actually July of last year. That return was returned to me, as I guess the electronic filing didn't take, hence the paper filing that they received in September.
Well, you filed 2014, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So you basically got 2010, 2011, no 2012, no 2013, and then a 2014 you filed.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Were you using an accountant or?
I was, Your Honor.
We also had some discussion off the record yesterday, and I don't want to backtrack too much. I know this comes as a ancillary to another investigation, but my understanding is this is simply a failure to file taxes and has nothing to do with the other investigation that I'm not from here, we've all read about. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. That is exactly correct. This is a personal issue with Mr. Newman, and it's unrelated to the investigation which brought it to light.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge, as Mr. Newman told you, he's 33 years old. He's a lifelong resident of Columbia, graduated from Spring Valley High School, went to Morehouse over in Atlanta, and then attended the University of South Carolina School of Law. He's been practicing law here since his graduation. He served as a member of City Council from 2010 until 2015. Recently just gave up that position. And Judge, I wish there was, some horrible story I could tell you, some reason that this happened, but there just simply isn't one. I agree with the Assistant Attorney General, Mr. Myrick. I mean, he knows his obligations to file his taxes. He's a lawyer. Lawyers are supposed to pay attention to details, and he just simply didn't do it. I will tell you, Judge, that he was contacted first about this thing in November of this past year, and he cooperated fully. We've obviously filed all the returns. And sort of the sad thing about this is the amount of restitution, which I think you have in the restitution order, is $2,734 for one and $7,109 for the other. So it's not like this is some tremendous amount of money. He's, as a result of this, he has reported his conduct to the bar and will be facing consequences from them as well.
He's self-reported?
He's self-reported.
Good.
And of course, we knew about this, and he turned himself in, and again has cooperated with the authorities on this matter. And as Mr. Myrick said, this is not a political thing. This is a personal thing. This doesn't have anything to do with the so-called other investigation. I think that's how they probably bumped into this, but this is not.
Yeah, as you know, I'm not from here.
Right.
All I know is what I read.
So this is, in closing, this is just, an embarrassing thing. Huge, mistake that he made, but he made it. And he suffered from it. His law license will be at issue. He's voluntarily given up his position on council, not as a result of this, but he has. So he's no longer a public official. And the prosecutor's correct here. We've agreed to pay a fee of $1,000 for the cost of prosecution, and we would ask the court to order restitution, order the cost of prosecution, put him on probation, but end the probation as soon as he pays these taxes, which we plan, and the fee, and we plan to do that in very short order.
And the restitution amount includes the $1,000?
It does.
Yes, sir. However, it does not include penalties and interest, which will be assessed by the civil section of the DOR.
Not something I need to do.
No, sir, not at all.
So the total amount for the court today is $10,843, and that includes the cost of the prosecution and the 2 years of taxes that he owes on the criminal side, understanding that he has penalties and interest he'll be dealing with another day through the civil side. And he's obviously been punished, been embarrassed, and I don't think he's a young man that you'll ever see standing in front of the microphone at that place again. I think he's learned his lesson.
Mr. Newman, anything you want to tell me?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I mean, I came here and realized that I was going to get to do this, and obviously in courthouses there's, it's one of the biggest rumor mills you're ever going to see, and 3 or 4 people who told me basically without me asking, and said, I'm not sure what happened there. He's such a good kid. And building a reputation as a good kid or a good man in a courthouse is not an easy thing to do. Obviously, you're going to have to rebuild that. You know that. You self-reported. That's the smartest thing you did. It just kind of grieves me. I know your father. Respect him. And I wish I wasn't here. But I'm going to accept your plea, find it freely and voluntarily made based upon the advice of counsel. I find that he waived all of his constitutional rights voluntarily and based upon the advice of counsel, and find that he also waived his right to present The sentence for each of these to run concurrent is 1 year suspended to 2 years probation, but will PTUP it after 6 months if the money is paid. Random drug and alcohol testing, which quite frankly I do on every single probation, and I can't treat you any differently. That would be I feel certain somebody's going to say some judge's son got a break. This is not a break. This is exactly what everybody gets without a criminal record. And I don't think that random drug and alcohol testing is probably going to be a big deal, but that's what I do for everybody else. That's what I need to do for you. Anything else from the state? I didn't mean, I may have cut you off, and I didn't mean to.
No, sir. Thank you.
Anything else?
Your Honor, we would just ask that in the order you include travel to Atlanta, where he has some ongoing projects, if that is okay with you, Your Honor.
It's fine with me as long as it's okay with probation. Is anybody here for probation? Oh, hey.
Yes.
I didn't see you there.
Sorry. Mayor, he'll be able to enlist with travel permits to be able to leave the state, as long as he's in compliance.
Do I need to write that down or?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. If you have a problem with it, I'll be happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I wish you luck, and like I said, self-reporting to the bar is the best thing you ever did, because I represented lawyers, unfortunately, in my law practice, and you self-report, you pretty much have a much easier road than somebody else reading the paper and reporting. Okay? Good luck, man. Thank you all. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Troy's over there. Should be over there.
Well, you gonna take
I can take a bite. Hey, top it.
I have one. Just take it inside the probation office. Yeah.
Good to see you.